Welcome to episode 92. Today, I'm joined by my very esteemed guest. He's been a lifelong friend of mine. He's a very smart guy. He's a very funny guy. Grant, do you want your last name on here? Do you care?
Okay.
Okay, Grant TB has been a lifelong friend of mine. He's a funny guy. I'm excited to talk to him today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We want to talk primarily about what it's like being a young adult who we both have degrees, we both have jobs out of college, and now we're like trying to get that second job / get the career like rolling, and we're having difficulty doing that. This is something that we can all, well, not all of us, but a lot of us can relate to. We kind of want to talk about the funny stuff that goes on or the weird antics that we do to try to get jobs, the situations we've been in, like maybe weird interviews we had, things that are going on. And hopefully you can relate and hopefully you enjoy this. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at francosworld_. And thank you very much for taking time to listen to today's episode. So Grant, let's get it started. What is one thing in particular that you want to, like, off the bat, like what is a weird experience or something weird that you've done in your process of trying to get a job? Have you done any sort of weird manipulating algorithm, or like what is, like when you apply for the job, I need to know what goes through your mind. Like, what do you do when you apply for a job?
I scroll through Indeed.
You're an Indeed guy.
I'm an Indeed guy,
okay,
yeah.
So I'm not an Indeed guy. And my mom's always on my case about being an Indeed. She's like, you got to be an Indeed guy. And I'm a LinkedIn guy. It's more of a social media. I get that. But I don't know. It just feels fancier to me. I like it.
Well, with Indeed, I have applied to probably 200 jobs. And probably 90% of them, they don't ever get back to me or anything like that. I applied for one job on LinkedIn and I've had success. I'm on my...
But you're still sticking to Indeed.
But it worked out well for me. When I applied to the job on LinkedIn, they got back to me the next day. Indeed is usually a few days after if they get back to me. And I feel like with Indeed,
I like the
it's hard
surveys
to tell.
on Indeed. I do the surveys on Indeed.
I like the surveys too, and I like the assessments, but
yeah,
it's kind of hard to tell the legitimacy of a job on Indeed.
Yeah.
Per se. LinkedIn, you can pretty much see.
Yeah, how many employees they have, all this and that. I like being able to see the reviews on Indeed and everything, but you see a job and you I'm sure you get them too. It's like they send you, it's like, you've been a match for this job. You'd be a perfect applicant for this job. And then I go and like look at it and I'm like, this is a scam. This is a con job. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm down bad. I'm down bad. I was applying to be like a media marketing guy for ServPro. I think that's a maintenance place, ServPro. I got to look that up, whatever ServPro is. And needless to say, I did not get it because otherwise I'd be donning the ServPro green. Do you know what ServPro is?
No, I've never heard of it.
All right, hold on. I'll look this up for you. ServPro is, and it's showing me
like
ServPro.
Like a tennis?
ServPro Ritchie County. So never mind. We don't want ServPro Ritchie County. It's been dubbed the King of Clean, which me as a germaphobe, not that bad. Okay. Fire and water, cleanup and restoration. So it's like, if bad things happen, these guys are cleaning it up. And I was applying to be like a media guy for them. And they're tweeting out GIFs and GIFs of the Wolf of Wall Street guy and Nick Offerman from Parks and Recreation clapping. That's like what there's a fire. People have lost their house and their livelihood. And someone said, thanks for the cleanup, ServPro. And it's some guy who's tweeting out Jordan Belfort clapping in his face. That smug, arrogant Jordan Belfort. And I couldn't do that. You're telling me I wasn't good enough I could find a better gift than Jordan Belfort. I could probably send a Care Bear or something like that. We send our deepest apologies. The fact you lost your house. I don't know where I'm going. Have you, like, how down bad are you in terms of like applying for jobs? Like, what are like someone like, you're like, okay, fine, I guess I will apply for this job. I need to know.
Just serving jobs pretty much. Just like I'll look at cool cities that I'd like to live in, and that's probably the lowest I go is just like a restaurant job.
And you're not again, to the servers, he's not knocking you.
No,
he's been a server.
I've been a server.
Multiple restaurants at once.
Most of my life, yeah.
Multiple restaurants at once.
That's where most of my area of expertise, I guess, if you could say that, would be, is that. So I am most qualified for that. I do have a college degree, so I feel like I'm worth something.
And that, and that's the problem. You know, I fall into that. Not necessarily the entitlement trap, but it's like, hey, I did go to college and I had a job right out of college and I have years of experience and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's easy to get down, man. And it's just like, I keep pounding the pavement, trying to get jobs, and it's just not happening. It's demoralizing almost.
It is. I've had a couple phone interviews in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
All of which, except for one, did not want to talk to me again after that. I think that's just because I wasn't ready. I have last March I started on unemployment, and then that I rode that out until about July, where I had a couple things happened, and I had to move back to my hometown. I was working at a restaurant in Morgantown, and then I had to move back for reasons, and then I got a gig with AmeriCorps.
Yeah,
which is not even technically a job. It's like
But you were working for a United Way and stuff. Like, that's a pretty respected nonprofit.
It is. It's a job that you can't say it's a job. They don't want you to say it's a job. They want you to say you're serving. So it's like volunteering for pay, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good on the resume,
which was really good for the 6 months that I did that.
Yeah.
After that, this past January, I got through 3 interviews with a company. I won't say the name of this company. And I got the job, and it was in Charleston, South Carolina. And I picked up all my stuff, and I moved. Essentially, I was in a hotel for a week when I started the job down in South Carolina, trying to gauge whether or not I'd like it. Because it's pretty expensive to live down there, and I didn't want to commit to an apartment without knowing whether or not the job it wasn't a scam, but it was not a good gig.
It was a little bit of a scam.
It was a little bit of a scam, which I worked for 4 days. On the 5th day, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore, and I sucked it up and came back to West Virginia. But now I'm having success with the job that I was talking about on LinkedIn. I am pretty close to getting that job secured, and it is actually a real.
It's a real job
with the salary and benefits. And
that's what it's all about, man. Yeah, and I hope you get that, man. You deserve to get that. You're a good guy. You've been working hard. And it's just funny for me, and I don't know if you have to go through this too, because me trying to be a jokester and everything, like, so I have to be on social media all the time and try to get the next piece of content out, and maybe this one goes viral, maybe this one gets big, and I can't really privatize my accounts. And so I worry all the time that, like, I'm applying for these jobs, these people look me up, and it says comedian, comic, and then they're like, oh, this guy won't take the job seriously, he tweets dumb stuff, he just made a joke about Osama bin Laden, he's not getting this job.
Well, I've been thinking about the social media aspect of employers.
But I'm a clean comic. Like, I can't.
There's nothing. You'll be fine. All my stuff's private. So, and I don't usually tweet nowadays anyway. Back in the day, I'm sure there's.
Weren't you best Twitter in high school?
I was. I got best tweeter in high school. I was.
Yeah, and look at you now.
I was one of those mouthy guys who would just reply to people that I didn't even know, and
you and Gabe would just get into Twitter spats with random people just for fun. Gabe would actively search random people online and just start fighting with them. He was a troll. He was a troll before trolling was a thing.
It's funny to think about that because I am friends. The ones that stuck out, the little Twitter beefs that I've had, the people that I were in arguments with, I'm friends with all of them now.
Really?
Yeah. I won't mention any names, but most of them. And if they don't like me to this day because of that, I don't have any bad blood or anything to those people. But
I was always a big scaredy cat on Twitter and everything, and that's probably why I didn't win the award. I did win a lot of other awards though in high school because I was super cool and awesome. And no, but
didn't you win coolest and most awesome?
I won best hair, obviously. I won. I think I won best dressed. And I won friendliest.
I got funniest, and
you did not get funniest. That's not an award.
I promise, most funny, or funniest, or whatever. I got most funniest. I don't know how you would say that. And best tweeter.
I would turn in all of my superficial awards that are best dressed, best looking, not best looking, best hair. You know, I would turn that in for the funniest award. I think I did some politics to get that one. I like.
Little backdoor deal, telling people to you better vote for me for what's funny, or I'm
break your kneecaps.
Break your kneecaps.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I would much rather have your award than what I got, but obviously
they don't matter.
Yeah, we can't put that on a resume. If we did, we probably would get jobs now. But
I think we would never get a job if we put that on our resume.
No, I think places respect high school.
But back to the social media thing, we've been warned for years that you better be careful about what they put on your social media.
It's on there forever.
That being said, I haven't really been considered for too many serious jobs yet, so I'm not sure. Maybe this job will get into my Twitter and decide that they do not want me at all because of what could be on there.
Well, I mean, I got a job in baseball right out of college, and I had so many tweets of baseball games where I'm like, this guy sucks, this guy can't hit, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm here now, so maybe we're just reading too much into it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is a big deal. I think they probably take a look.
If you're out there spreading Nazi propaganda, they're probably not gonna hire you. But if you're out there making your little jokes and your little like, look at this Shrek meme, I think you're fine. I don't know what your Twitter's like anymore because you don't tweet.
The vulgarity that's on Twitter nowadays, these kids, or maybe they're not even all kids, but if they will ever try to get a real job later on in life, they may want to consider deleting their Twitter.
I mean, can I scroll through one finger swipe's worth of a Twitter feed? I can't get there without seeing at least 2 porn sites.
Yep. Comments. I'm a big comment guy because that's where the funny stuff is.
Do people not realize that we can also see your likes and you're liking horny tweets and Sex R Us or whatever, some weird URL or at name that I don't know? We can see that. We can see you. People are being horny online, horny on main, as they say. That ain't me.
Maybe they just don't care.
That's true. Or maybe they want to get caught. It's a thrill thing.
Exhilarating thing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, maybe they'll see this. Oh. It's always so funny because every couple of years you'll see like a college basketball coach or a politician. They'll like a tweet that's like really dirty and people are like all on their case. But like,
see you.
But like, there's no way those people run their accounts. Like that's probably like a social media manager who forgot to switch accounts. It's got to be, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
In most cases.
And people are always
as far as politicians go, I don't necessarily think that internet savvy.
No, they're idiots.
And they just like...
Dude, okay, we're in West Virginia. Jim Justice does not know how to turn on a computer.
No, he has to have someone do it for him.
Correct.
Every time.
And that's
Doesn't
fine.
know how to put on a mask either, but that's neither here nor there.
Now, so I'm on the Twitter, and you guys on there, you're retweeting porn, you know, and we got to get back to work. And I don't know how we can go to work if you're horny online. For most of my audience actually isn't in West Virginia. That is a spot-on impression of Jim Justice.
That's pretty good.
That is a pretty good impression of West Virginia Governor Jim Justice. I just want to point that out to the audience. But yeah, man, you know, being on social media all the time and stuff like that, I worry that places see what I tweet. And I try not to be, I mean, obviously I'm a clean comic, so I'm not too dirty, but it's just something that goes through my mind.
I think one day that'll be good for you. I think that's not going to be negative for you. I think that a job will see that you are very outgoing and that you know how to talk to people. So I think that is a couple pluses.
Yeah.
For most jobs, unless the job is like...
I think that's one thing that, you know, you can't really quantify it. There's not like you can't really, I mean, I put it down on my resume as a skill as like public speaking and stuff like that. And, you know, there's not like a set thing. Like you can't sit behind your computer and say like, I'm well versed in talking to people on this platform or something like that. But like, you know, a lot of people I'd say around our age, like especially younger, a lot of people younger than us, like they can't say words. Like I mean, their whole lives, like their parents just shoved them in front of a screen. It's like the baby's crying, give them an iPad.
The iPad babies.
Give it the iPad. And, you know, my parents just shoved me in front of a television, but still, you know, I think that's a skill that I have that you can't really, you know, I mean, you can't quantify it, but I definitely put it on the resume. And speaking of resumes, one thing that I was doing there for a couple months, and then I heard that I was late to the party, I was taking the description or like preferences for jobs. I was copy and pasting that, putting it at like 0.05 lettering and just plastering it in my resume and turning the font white. So whenever it went through those HR systems or hiring systems, it would like light up like a Christmas tree because this guy fits the bill, but really I'm just copying and pasting what they said. Clearly that did not work because I don't have a career from that. And I also heard that it gets you blacklisted from certain places. I don't know how true that is.
I have no idea.
But I tried that method. Have you tried any weird methods? Is there anything that you swear by whenever you're applying for a job? It's like, I have to do this to give me the best chance.
Well, I'm really lazy, so the way I do it is if it is one of those on Indeed, there's either when you click apply for this job, it'll either take you to a full on application or it'll give you the
you like the easy apply?
The quick apply.
You like the easy apply?
Yeah, I love that.
I don't like the easy apply on LinkedIn because you can see 8,000 people have applied for this job.
Yeah. But then again, like if we want the job that bad, we should have it in us to go through the application process a little easier. So that's definitely on us.
I get down on myself because I see all these people, and I know I'm qualified, but like in my mind, there's some, super rich kid whose dad has a connection with somebody in the company, and they went to an Ivy League school, and they got a couple more years of experience. And I'm like, this kid probably did the easy apply. Why am I? There's no need for me. I don't know why I get down on myself like that. Now, if I see 100 or under in terms of applicants, I'm all in that.
Yeah, I definitely have applied to more jobs because it says be the first to apply to this job.
Or like urgent hiring.
3 hours ago, yeah. Urgent hiring, I think you have to look out for.
Oh, you think those are the scam jobs?
I think those are more the scam jobs. And you got to look out for like jobs that you'll scroll through and you'll see like different names for, and then the description will be it's the same company, different title. Like the job that I went down to South Carolina for, I applied for, it was a client relations specialist. And now I go on there and I see they have like sports-minded marketing lead.
Sports-minded marketing? You're hawking cell phones.
I know.
Sports-minded, I mean, those people that you did work with were sports-minded. They did show you their high school highlight tapes.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We can talk about that. Dude, you can be blackballed from that industry. You never want to work in that again. Dude, you're not. It's not looking bad on you for saying, yeah, I went down there and the job's not what I thought it was. These people weren't very professional. If anything, it makes you look more professional. Okay. These people were showing him high school highlight tapes. They were like 26, 27 years old, and they were still showing high school highlight tapes to him. It's like a motivator.
Half the day that's what they talked about.
Half the day
is their high school football career.
Dude, come on.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look for me. That's definitely one of the reasons why I didn't stay. Also, I couldn't afford an apartment with the pay that they were giving me. And you got to look out for like large pay ranges from like it'll be like $35,000 to $99,000.
Whoa! I have not seen that. $35,000 to $99,000. I mean, that's just a classic sales like commission based job, probably.
Yeah, and if you want to do sales, there's all kinds of jobs out there for you.
Oh yeah,
but
capitalist market, man.
There's a difference between a lot of sales jobs advertise as non-sales jobs, and then once you start the interview process or start like they start explaining it to you, it's just a lot.
Yeah,
it's just not what you thought it was. I was just eager to leave town, so
when I had my interview with I'm trying to think. I had an interview with NBC Sports and New York Mets right before the pandemic started, and I thought for sure I was going to get one of those and be out of here and be in New York and doing my thing. And I think it was the New York Mets job where it said I was going to be around a lot of like high profile clientele. I'd be around like the president, GM, CEO, all these big guys for the Mets. And it said you had to conduct business with a certain level of confidentiality. I thought that was creepy because I don't know, like, I understand they mean like you can't talk about business deals and everything. And so I was like, oh, I'll look like a business guy. So in my interview, I probably said I conduct business with a certain level of confidentiality. And I probably said confidentiality 8 times in the interview. And this guy's like, okay, this is a psychopath. He keeps saying confidentiality like he's hiding
that word one time.
Like he's hiding something. And that's something that because it was one of those video interviews where I can't see anybody. It gives you a question and it gives you 5 seconds. It's like beep, beep, beep. And then it's like, go. And
I've never done that.
You've never done that?
No.
I've done that twice. Both the interviews I had were online on video, and I didn't even get to talk to a person. It was just like an automated voice like Stephen Hawking. And it was just like, what would you do in a situation where you need to na. And then I'm like, oh.
Honestly, that sounds like I would like that a lot more than
Well, apply to New York Mets. I just applied to for a job there to work in the team store. To work in because I think
like at the stadium.
At the stadium, yeah,
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. And it said you work all the home games, and they only play like 81 home games, and I'd say like a quarter of those get done at like 4:00. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty.
Some nights will be late.
Some nights will be real late, but you know. You have a week off, and then you work.
They have a TV screen in there. You can
watch the game, and you feel the ballpark atmosphere, and they're going to be a good team this year. And you know, you work a week, and then you're off a week because I'm sure you'd have to go in there and work some shifts just because. Yeah. But like, there's no games for a week, or they have like a 10-day road trip, and it's like, okay, well, you know, that job seemed pretty fun. So hopefully, I get that.
That would be really cool because you could probably get your foot in the door.
I don't want
a lot of other. Areas of the stadium, like you could be like, if there's anything else that I can do,
I don't want to work in baseball in terms of like the actual player development anymore. That was something that was like when I was coming out of college. That was a spur of the moment thing I did, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I just like those guys that I worked with were so committed. Like that's what they want to do their whole lives, and they knew that was a good building block job. Mm-hmm. I just took it as like a job, and I was like, okay, I'm just here to do this. And, you know, I met a lot of good people and had a lot of great times. I fell in love up there. Ooh. Love is big. And, but no, man, I don't want to continue to work for a ball club or anything like that.
My biggest problem is that I have never been really sure
what you want to do
with your life. What I want
to
do with my life.
You and I are similar, though. So, I mean, like, we could do, like, a media marketing gig.
Yeah. Marketing and, I got my degrees in public relations. Or I guess it's called strategic communications, but I emphasized my degree.
That's what I did. Yeah.
And then I got a music industry minor. Originally I wanted to do PR for a music group or like a venue or something of the sort.
Music industry is dirty.
Music industry is bad. So I've kind of drifted away from that, and now I'm just trying to find. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. When it comes to like
I
guess when it comes to just like skills, I'm kind of average in most things, so I can do a lot of things that jobs are asking me to do. The problem is just getting interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess the point of what I'm saying is that right now I'm just trying to find something to make some money and maybe move to a cool city.
Start my life over. Essentially, I'm in the same boat, and you and I are not in sort of this failure to launch scenario. We graduated, we got jobs, and then unfortunately, due to circumstance, we had to move back. But it's not like we're mooching off our parents. We're just this is temporary, and then we'll get a move on, man. And you know, it's I said this the other night on my Instagram live, not to get too what's the word pseudo intellectual here. But somebody told me that their birthday, they were going to be 20 this week. And I said, like, what's some advice you would give to a 20-year-old? And I say, have more forgiveness and empathy for yourself and for people older than you. Because I did not have that. When I was 20 years old, I would not have forgiven a 24-year-old for doing something stupid or you know, taking a job for low pay or moving someplace and it not working out. I'd have been like, you're 24, you should know better to do that. I'm 24 now, and I'm like, it's okay that I don't have it all figured out. And so I urge all the people younger than us and us to have a little bit more sympathy and empathy, or whatever this word is, for what we're doing with our careers, man. We're so hard on ourselves. We're a generation that was told, like, hey, go to college, do the work, do the thing, because that's what all of our parents did. You know, they got to go to college and instantly find jobs in job land.
Job trees.
And they just had 8 jobbies on job trees. Yeah.
I would recommend to anyone younger than us to try to figure out what you're passionate about really early.
Ooh, now Grant's getting pseudo-intellectual. Okay, hit it.
Which is tough.
Hit it, bud.
It's tough because I just wanted to have fun in high school and in college. I did well in college, but
you probably did better than me GPA-wise in college.
I wouldn't say I worked hard. Or like I guess I worked hard, but you know, school was secondary. I had a job in college that I really liked. It was a catering job, and all my friends worked there, and it was just like
cool gig.
It was just a cool thing, and I worked 40 hours a week, and I focused most on that job. But I don't have that job anymore, and I think it's just something that I missed out on. Which a lot of people, you're not going to find your passion. You're not going to know what it is that you really want to do with the rest of your life.
I was very fortunate. I paid $30,000 to figure out that I want to be a professional jokester. And like, people would invite me to go out to parties and people say they're going here and there or they're doing this activity. And I'd be like, man, it's Friday night. I want to stay at home and watch Johnny Carson reruns and write jokes till 2 a.m. Call me when you need a DD. That's what I would do. And I told myself then that it would pay off eventually because I was like, no one else is doing this. It's like the Tim Tebow, when he was a kid, he would always say, like, nobody else in Jacksonville is lifting weights right now at 13. And he was probably wrong, but in his mind, if that's what he had to tell himself to make himself work hard, or that's what I do. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, there's always somebody younger and more talented and better with better connections that is doing more work than me. So maybe this can be a motivator to you to get out there and do something. I don't know. What do you do to motivate yourself, Grant?
To-do lists.
Oh, okay.
That's something I picked up in the last year. I go on spurts of just not wanting to do a damn thing. I like watching TV a lot.
You said to-do list, then you go, I like to watch TV a lot.
But to get myself motivated and off the couch, I found that writing to-do lists and just writing things, actually, as it's a good motivator to, just write a couple things, check things off the list. It feels good. It's a little dopamine rush or endorphins or whatever. Endorphins. Yeah,
dude, you had me watching, you're a big TV movie guy, man, and you had me watching all this crazy stuff. Yesterday we just watched this documentary about Dan Schneider being like a creep, and I'd never heard this in my life, but then you watch these clips, and you got Amanda Bynes with her feet covered in jelly, like she's 14 years old, and it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe he is a creep.
Yeah, I've discovered that video. Yeah, it's definitely messed up.
Yeah.
I like to watch a lot of
messed up stuff. Dude, you showed me, Grant, man, and I love you to death, but you showed me this Adult Swim fake medicine ad that I'm not kidding you guys.
I would recommend that to anyone.
It is scarier than most horror films out right now.
I think it's called unedited footage of a bear. It doesn't have anything to do with a bear.
No, and it's like, and I understood what the metaphor was from the jump about addiction to prescription meds and everything, because of like the ads, and you read like side effects may include, and you read all of it,
long list,
all this like that, and you're like, okay, so this is about prescription like drugs, but this was on Adult Swim. That's a comedy-based thing. Imagine being 1 a.m, you're just sitting there and you think it's an ad, but then it just becomes this terrifying tale of drug addiction. Unedited footage of a wild bear.
Unedited footage of a bear.
Yeah.
It's on the infomercials section of Adult Swim. They have a lot of good stuff.
Are any of them funny?
Some of them are funny.
But a lot of them are like
mine.
Creepy metaphor. Yeah. This drug-addicted woman is screaming and running at you. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's like a woman. She's driving a car, and all these side effects. It's like a commercial for allergy medication, and it's like belting off all these side effects, and then she drives by like a murder.
Yeah, she drives by the murder,
and then she like comes to a slow stop, and then like this like.
It's like her heart.
This drums start beating, and then she sees herself at the end of the road.
And she gets out of the car.
She gets out, and she's like, what? And then herself starts running full speed towards her with the drums just like...
And it's terrifying because she's like hopped up on drugs, screaming and running at her. I'm getting cold chills up my spine right now because I'm looking at a black window outside. I see nothing but woods and nothingness, and I'm very scared. There's the dogs across the street are like these... I don't know, Egyptian-looking dogs that pharaohs had, so maybe they'll protect me, but I'm scared. I'm scared right now.
I've actually thought about, what if I was getting, like, murdered down here?
Why?
And I scream.
Grant!
And I scream for those, like,
Grant!
Those dogs I help. I picture them, like, jumping the fence. And
you think they'd help you?
Maybe.
What would you say, like, pharaohs, help me!
Neighbor dogs.
King Tut is in trouble. I need help. I don't know how Egyptians talk. I actually was friends with one Egyptian guy in college, but I don't remember how he talked.
I've never met an Egyptian.
Why would you talk about murder while we're down here, alone in this house?
I'm not scared of my house.
You live in a nice neighborhood, but I'm terrified. There's woods back there. And I live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. My next door neighbor's half a mile away. I guess you're not scared because it's your dwelling. It's your home.
I guess that's true.
You show me all of this scary stuff, man. You got any funny stuff that you can show me? What's the funniest thing you watched lately?
As far as funny stuff lately that I've watched.
You haven't gotten anything.
Not really.
Okay, fair enough. You're just a boring guy, boring life.
I've been into the Mountaineers. Really, really focusing on the basketball team right now.
We could talk about the Mountaineers. We can talk about them.
We're gonna win the national championship. That's all there is to do. That's all there is.
I want to believe, Grant. I want to love again. My heart is so full. My arms are open wide. I want to believe in this team, but something, you look at
there is something there.
You look at the Texas loss, the heartbreaker. You look at the Oklahoma loss, the heartbreaker. You look at the Gonzaga loss, gave that one away late. You look at the this one against Baylor that we had, we gave it away in overtime. And these are all really good teams, and we're just not putting them away, and it breaks my heart because I want to believe in this team. I want to believe that we can actually win a national championship in one of the top 2, college football or college basketball, in my lifetime. I want to believe that this is the year.
I think for basketball, this is about as good a year as any.
What about next year, though?
I think next year we could be good. I forget who the senior is. We got a couple seniors.
But the thing is with next year, how good is everybody else getting?
That's true.
Because this is a wild, crazy year. Duke is horrible.
North Carolina is terrible.
Yeah, it's a wild year. The field is wide open.
Kansas is just okay. They're getting better, actually.
I want to believe, Grant. I want to believe.
I have faith. Pat McAfee has faith.
Well, he is. Yeah, he's not going to talk bad about the alma mater.
No.
I'm happy that he's back, somewhat affiliated with the school. I'm happy that he can, walk into the athletic facilities and not be afraid for his life. Guy was 20 years old and had the worst game of his life at 20 years old, and it haunted him forever.
Yeah, I don't think anyone held that over his head, though.
No, they definitely did. They sent death threats to his house, Grant.
Which game was that?
The game we don't talk about. The game of which we do not speak.
Did he miss a field goal?
He missed 3!
Oh.
Grant! You said, I've been following the Mountaineers. And you win that game, you go to the national championship, you act like you know what you're talking about? What are you doing? The Rich Rod, you got spit on as if he's leaving the game. And then he was out. He went to Michigan immediately following.
Yeah.
There was a 30-minute long interview with Rich Rod and Pat McAfee recently where they talked about everything that went down. And it was a cool pull back the curtain moment because those were my heroes.
I liked watching them.
Those are my heroes as kids, all those guys. And, those teams were awesome. And he was just like, yeah, so I asked, Rich Rod was talking about how there was a first-time president, and I think it was Clemens was the president at the time of West Virginia University. And he said he was a rookie president. He didn't know that football essentially pays for the entire athletic department. And he's like, I asked for X amount of dollars for my entire coaching staff and one facility upgrade or something like that. And the guy's like, we're not giving you anything. And he says, okay, I'm out. So that's really what it was. And now you look at all the assistant coaching positions, their salaries, they're to the moon. You're paying coordinators $1 million. And it's crazy. It's crazy that imagine where we would have been had Rich Rod if things had went different. Do you think he would have sucked like he does, or do you think he could have continued to build a great program?
I think he could have done well. I am glad I watched that because there was all kinds of rumors back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I remember getting a phone call saying Rich Rod left. I remember hearing that he threw the game on purpose.
Yeah.
All kinds of things.
And Rich Rod made a good point because he's like, why would I throw a game if I win, I go to the national championship, and that's on my resume forever that I'm a national championship winning coach? Why would he throw that? Why would I throw the Pitt game, the arch rival, next door neighbor? Why would I throw that game? Yeah. It's a good point. And now he's down at Louisiana Monroe as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The ebbs and flows of college football. People don't understand. And I know, a lot of the people that listen to this aren't big sports people. Rich Rodriguez, for those that don't know, he's a West Virginia guy. He played at West Virginia University. He's from here. And he is such an innovative mind in terms of college football and the offenses that he had. He was the first guy. He was coaching at like a D2 school, and he was the first guy to spread everybody out and run like. If you watch the end of a half of football and you're like, how come they don't play like that all the time? You watch an NFL last 2 minutes of the first half or second half, and they're moving the ball down the field. Everybody's sprinting up to the line. All the receivers are wide open, tons of space. And Rich Rod's like, why don't we just play like that all game? And he was the first guy to really do that. And he incorporated a lot of read option with the quarterback running the ball. Very innovative offensive mind. Unfortunately, it feels like the game is passing by.
I think Pat White had another year at that time.
He had one more year after that. Yeah. If you had to give me, and we can close with this. If you had to give me your top 5 Mountaineers, you can give me combined football. Heck, I'll even include women's soccer because they were such a good team when we were in college, and maybe even baseball. I don't know. But your top 5 Mountaineers that you like during your childhood and college that you remember. Who are your top 5 people? Obviously, you and I both have Pitt Snuggle in there and Pat White.
Pitt Snuggle, Pat White, Deshaun Butler.
Okay, Deshaun Butler for you.
100%.
Yeah, I honestly have to go McAfee.
Yep, McAfee's a
okay,
huge
so
one.
you have 4. You have one more. Are you gonna say Meg Bolger? She was awesome. Meg Bolger? She's like one of the top women's basketball players of all time for the school. Mark Bolger's sister?
Tavon Austin has to be there.
Wow. That's a good one.
He was lightning.
Yeah. So I have Pat McAfee. I have Pat White. I have Kevin Pittsnoggle. I was a big Frank Young fan. I'll go Frank Young. And I have 2 basketball and 2 football. I feel like I got to get a football. My favorite player when I was in college. Clint Trickett. He was so handsome, man. He was like 160, but he could throw the ball like 80 yards with ease.
He had that hair. He
had great hair. He would take off his helmet, and it was still great hair. Very jealous. Very jealous. I mean, I have great hair. Clearly, I've won best hair in high school.
Clearly.
Nice callback. And that's how we close it out. Grant, do you have anything you want to leave the people with?
No, I think I'm all good, man.
Well,
thanks for having me today.
Of course, and thank you very much for stopping by. In the meantime, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, @Franco'sWorld_. Keep taking care of yourselves, and I will see you. Peace.